Hello, and welcome to this session. I'm going to name it Changing Attitudes Segment 8. So Changing Attitudes Segment 8. I want to talk about our intuition, but I want to mention that a viewer did ask me a question, and I'll answer it before I end this session. Okay, now I have mentioned about impulses and how important they are, and how an impulse that I got while driving saved a man's life. Well, intuition has also been very valuable to me and others. We don't always hear that sweet little voice speaking to us because it's so shy or so quiet, or it's trying to sneak around the ego, because the ego doesn't want any changes to occur. But anyway, intuition is very important. I had, back in time, a problem with the railway company. I bought a piece of industrial land from the bank, who had power sailed the owner of the land. He lost it, and I ended up buying it in Toronto. So I completed the building. It was only started. I completed it as a huge industrial building, 3 stories. And when I get finished in June, May or June, I get an issue of a lawsuit from the railway company that runs behind the property. And I thought, what the heck is this? And in that lawsuit, they're saying they were going to take the property back. Take the property back. Yes, they were going to take it back if it didn't have a warehouse built on it within 2 years of the purchase. My goodness, where's that fit in? So I have to go and look at the deed, and sure enough, it's right in the deed. Now, why didn't I see it? Well, because I just thought it was a right-of-way when when the hydro is mentioned. It's usually a right-of-way, so it's my fault, not my lawyer's. And I ended up going to court to try to save my building. I spent a fortune on it, and it's ready to sell. So at the court, I got my employees, my tradespeople, to attend and bring their spouses, so that the judge can see that there's a lot of people going to get hurt if I don't succeed keeping the building as my own. So anyway, my lawyer is a good lawyer for this kind of situation. And the railway company had about 3 lawyers and about 2 or 3 assistants. So they were packed for the hunt, for the kill. And as time was going on, I could see my lawyer was losing ground, trying to say, well, all the excuses that we had talked about, he and I, but we were losing ground. When suddenly intuition said to me, the deed. So I figure I'm supposed to read the deed. So I read the deed, go through it, and can't find any hole, any excuse, any ability to solve my problem. And it's getting worse. I can tell by my lawyer's slumped shoulders and tone of voice that he's not feeling good about where things are going. And suddenly again, intuition said, the deed. So for a second time, I pick it up, which I've read a few times before. I read it, and see nothing. So I sit back and I think, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose this property and all the money I put into it. And intuition again says, the deed. So I pick up the document, because I do obey my intuition as well as my impulses. It's a better world when you do. So I pick up the agreement and read through the body and read through this and that. And then I notice that we're supposed to close, or the second 2-year term would expire in May or June, which I'm now in. And then a deed isn't a deed unless it's registered. So I look at the registration date, and it was October of that year I purchased, not May or June. It was October, like 5 months later. The lawyers for the railroad company registered the document. So I tug at the sleeve of my lawyer, who looks at me with unhappy expression, let's say. And I say to him, whispering, I said, can you show this deed to the judge and ask him, what do I consider the starting date of this agreement? Is it the date it says in the agreement, or is it the date that it was registered? So he thinks, and he calls to the judge so he and the other lawyers can go to speak in front of him. And when the judge sees my question, my lawyer's question, he sends the lawyers back, and then he gives proper help to the lawyers. He says, your company or your lawyers on your client's behalf sold this property to a person. That person started work on it, start building a building, as I understand, and he didn't even own the land. You hadn't registered the deed. You let that person do work on that property for 5 months before you even registered the deed. So as far as I'm concerned, based on what the lawyer over here has said, that building is done, you have no claim on it, case closed. So I'm saved thousands of dollars by listening to my intuition and following its comments. They weren't very detailed, but I had to do the knowledgeable thing and figure out what can be wrong with the deed. So I've tried to improve my intuition, given it exercises to perform. For instance, if I'm driving up a hill in the city and I know over the top of the hill on the other side will be a street and a traffic light, and I ask myself, what color will a traffic light be when I first get to see it? Will it be green, amber, or red? And it will tell me. And sure enough, that's right. When I'm over there, it's exactly what I was told by intuition. And I do that often. I also do it with a bank of elevators. If I'm in a lobby of a business building and there's 3 or 5 elevators there, I'll quickly number them 1 to 5 or 1 to 3 and ask my intuition which one will come for me. And it'll say 2 or 4, whatever. And when I get the answer, I go always and stand in front of that door. And sure enough, that's the one that opens. Now sometimes I can get fooled because I hear the clunk clunk of the cables of another elevator, and I think, oh, maybe that's the one that's coming. But often, 9 out of 10 times, I get the right answer. In fact, one day I'm in the lobby of a large office building on University Avenue, downtown Toronto. Nobody's in the lobby, and there's a bank of elevators, and I ask which elevator will come to me, and I'm told 4. So I go stand in 4, in front of 4, and then the lady comes in. She walks by the other elevators and stands behind me. And when the elevator comes, sure enough, it's number 4. So I and the lady get on the elevator. And as we go up, I ask her, why did you come and stand beside me? She says, well, I figured you knew something. Yes, intuition is there. It doesn't speak up often. We do have to jar it a little bit, get it working for us sometimes. But it's never, ever wrong. Now, I have somebody that wanted to know about, upon hearing that there's old souls and new souls, or newer souls. And he wanted to know if the newer souls were created more recently than the older souls. So my answer is, and was, or would have been anyway, it is no. I told him all the souls were created pretty well around the same time. The reference of old souls and newer souls relates to our earthly planet. There are souls that came here early in time, and there are souls that come late. Those ones that come late have a bit of catching up to do with those souls that have been visiting Earth a long time. And some of the new inventions and what are they called? Creations that we see going on are brought on, a lot of them, by newer souls. They have in their mind more of what they knew from where they came from. See, the newer soul may have come from another plane, or from a world that's up within or without the galleries, within the Milky Way. That they have not been here that long. And even though if they become millionaires due to their discoveries and inventions, they still have to improve their personalities and social abilities. That takes time. And I wish them luck. Bye-bye now.